Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well, and I'm so sorry that I've been missing in action. I have been away for 2 months, and then I came back and contracted flu. I've still got a bit of a cough, so do excuse me if I do start coughing. But nonetheless, I had a great trip. I went to go and see my family down under, and yeah, I got back a couple of weeks ago. Contracted this flu, which everybody seems to be going down with, and here I am. So I do apologize for having neglected you all. I do appreciate you all. So I'm hoping that I can pick up the pace and do this weekly for you all. So today I'm going to show you charcoal and a bit of white pastel, something that I've just kind of gotten into and I'm enjoying thoroughly. I'm using a Tombow mono eraser. I'm using a little brush for blending and a blending stump, as well as my beautiful kneaded eraser, which I know I've told all of you that we cannot be without with drawing. It certainly adds great value to one's pack. So today we're going to do a drawing of, this is my daughter, and we're going to be looking at shapes and the actual tonal values of this photograph. So she has added, I'm not quite sure what she's done here, but she has added spatters to this particular photograph. I absolutely love it. I love how grainy it is. And I love how, whoops, I don't want to copy it. And I love how nothing's really in focus, yet we do have detail, particularly around the eyes, which is what you know I focus on. It's my focal point when I draw. So I'm going to show you basically how I would start this drawing off, and I'm going to do it the same size as what this photograph is, so I'm not going to muck around. I'm going to put a mark down here, and I'm just going to measure it across with my charcoal. By the way, this is a general soft charcoal pencil, a peel and sketch. I love these because you literally peel this back and peel this paper off all the way up to the charcoal, and there you go, off you go. You can sand this into a point. I generally use it as it is. This does get in your way after you've peeled it off a few times, so I just cut it a bit shorter. I've got a Krita color white pastel stick. I just want to wipe this off. I see I've got a lot of charcoal on it. Okay, that's fine. It seems to be embedded in it. That's fine. I can always just sand that off as well. This gives the highlights. It's a very, very nice charcoal stick. It's hard. Then I've just got a blending stump, a normal old blending stump, mono eraser. This is a 2.5, I think, precision eraser, and it's basically like a pencil. For those of you who don't know it, you press it down and it pushes out at the bottom like a pencil. And then I have a very, very cheap bright china little brush on the end that springs back for blending as well. I find this invaluable for charcoal. Right, let's get to it. So these marks that I've made here, it's basically from the edge of the photograph to the end of her chin. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mark for the start of her lips, because we have got her on her side. So I'm basically starting from the bottom of the chin. I generally do start with the eyes, and I probably will in a minute. But make sure that you make your marks, or you put your marks down, your measuring down from wherever it is that you are measuring from. So don't suddenly start measuring from the top of her head, because your marks will be out when you start laying in the eyes, etc. And again, I talk about shapes. I don't really talk about eyes. I try not to see the person. I try to see shapes, because it just makes your life so much easier to not see the person. I just find people get really confused, and then they start drawing eyes, they start seeing pupils and irises and eyebrows, and instead of just seeing tonal values, shape and shadows. So now I'm going to go from the bottom here, and I haven't really decided where my bottom of my picture is. If I look here from the top, so I have marked her eye here, so perhaps what I should do is really go from the top and go down. So if I do that, if I make a mark there, and I know that that eye, or the end of that, her face starts there, the edge of her face. So that is what that mark is. Make these marks lightly. Don't put a lot of charcoal down. Oh, and by the way, I'm drawing on Kanzen Martin's pastel paper. Now, it does have some cotton in it. It's quite a beautiful paper. It's toned, as you can see. This is one of their other colors. If you can see it on this side, let me just move this over so that I can show you. So this comes in a pad, and it comes in various colors. You can buy sheets, and you can then just cut it up. This comes from a pad of paper that I have cut up. Right, so we have those measurements in place, and now we can start having a look at angles and shapes. As I say, I work in shapes. So if I look at her eyeball, that shape, and as I say, do it lightly because we're going to be blending, and you don't want too much charcoal on your paper. Do not fill in the white areas, just fill in the shaded areas. I just want to get a bit more of a round shape there. I'm going to put in her eyebrow, and I am not measuring here. I am just going by what I can see, and you will see that I will go back in for the detail at the end. So now what I'm doing is I'm getting her nose, and I generally move my sketchbook around when I'm measuring, but with the recording I can't really do that. So what I've done is I've measured from the corner of that eye to the start of her next eye, and that's the measurement that I have got. So now the biggest challenge here is to actually get these eyes in a line, and if I look at the angle of her face is at a very, very slight angle. So if I do that, the top of this eye is in line with the bottom of that one. Can you see that? Can you see that if I do that? If I do that, that's where her eye ends up. So the top of this eye is the bottom of the one next to it. So we're just going to get that corner, the tear duct in, and then I'm going to move down to the eyeball, and it's minuscule little measurements. I haven't worked in this size, this tiny size. I don't generally work in this tiny size, but I have really been enjoying it. I'm busy. I've taken part, or should I say committed, to the 100-day Create platform on Facebook, and at the moment we're doing 100 portraits. It doesn't matter if it's animal, as long as it's a portrait. So that does look a bit strange, but I have just having a look at it. Perhaps I don't have the tear duct in line. Maybe I need to lift that. Might just look a little bit better. Right, so now we're going to blend out. We don't need a huge amount of charcoal on our paper to be able to do that. You can see how beautifully this brush blends it out. You know, one could just get or buy a cheap brush that you can hear how stiff it is. Just to blend out, get that charcoal down. It's a bit of a dark line here, right where the corner of her nose goes, that way, straight away. There's not even a question of beautiful line that she has here. There's not even a question of that nose shape. So I've taken the eyebrow over too much, you can see with my blending. So we can just fix that quickly, get back into that. That there. I am going to fill that in, and I am going to take this bottom bit away because I do feel that the eyes are not aligned. Somehow I've already got it out of line. It's really difficult to get eyes lined up when you are doing them at this angle. But with charcoal, because it's so forgiving, you can fix easily. You can fix it very, very quickly. There we go. I think that is a bit better. She has this top lid that comes over. We'll get that in line there. And let's get a bit of charcoal down onto this part of the lid. Her lid itself, this lid here, is very, very white. It is reflecting the light beautifully. So that's what you want to show in your drawing. You want to show that reflected light. There we go. Just get this eyeball in. Can you see how beautifully this the charcoal blends out? It really is quite amazing. We're just going to lift that out so that we get that white, and then we just want to lift out this little highlight that is in her eye here. Always make sure that you erase off of your eraser any charcoal or graphite that you may have on it, because it will lay down more on top of whatever it is that you're trying to erase. Okay, so we've got that. We've got that eye filled in. And now we're going to move across to this one. You can see that there is a lot of light falling into this eye, and I have laid down far too much charcoal on that side. So, which means that I'm going to have to lift it out. So what I'm doing is I'm using the charcoal that is on my brush, and I am using it to fill out that shadow around the edge of her eye there. This carries on here. So we can pull that down into there, and we can take some of this charcoal and put that down into that area. I have laid down far too much charcoal here. So that's good, because I can tell you exactly how I'm going to fix it. Right. So I have put far too much charcoal on the edge of her pupil. You can see there. It's much, much lighter. The light is coming in from that side, and that's what I should have picked up right at the very, very beginning. So clearly I didn't study this picture before I started. And now I am fixing, which you don't really want to be doing. You really want to study the photograph first. You don't want to be scrubbing too much on the actual paper. You want the paper to not have too much abuse, no matter even if it can take it. Okay, so now we're going to do that top lid, and I just hope that these eyes match up. So pupil goes down there. I'm just going to soften this with a brush. Take that down there like that, because that is a shadow there. We've got a shadow coming across here, going up into her eyebrow. And I just hope that I'm just not so much in this picture that I can't see. If this eye is out, I think it's all right. I think it's okay. I hope so. Okay, take this around because we've got that white light underneath her eye. Can you see that beautiful little bit of white light? It's going to soften that out. Okay, so there we have her eyes in place. Just want to get rid of this mark I made. As I said to you earlier, I wanted to make a light little mark, and sometimes the paper becomes saturated before you even started on the picture. Just found that it's really, really sensitive to the amount that you lay down. Right, so if I go back in and I try and get her eyebrow right, it does start above this shadow here. I'm just lightly putting that in because I like that shadow very, very much. And let's go. Eyebrow, go, go, go. Let's just go. Fairly straight across the top. And then it goes down. Very, very pretty. Right. So there we have the eyebrow. And I have got that in line. And then I'm going to put in this little tiny line here because I do like to add there's that little detail. Sometimes it makes the person look a little bit older. You just need to soften it out. But it does add what you are looking for. If I look at this eye, this one here, there is a beautiful white light that is from the side all the way around. And this charcoal, the shadow, not the charcoal, the shadow goes around there. Her eyelashes are actually highlighted. Right. I'm hoping that that whole eye is, those eyes are okay. And I do have them in line. So I'm going to lift that slightly in that corner. But I think I do have that in line. Take it out slightly for her eyelashes. Right, so here we are with just the eyes done. I'm going to take this out, and this shadow goes up here. It's absolutely beautiful. I have enhanced this. I did put this through my photo sort of edit thing. It's nothing special. It is just a photo edit thing on Apple, but just a normal photo where I have turned it in black and white. I'm now getting the nose accurately in because I've laid down the eyes, and I have possibly changed where some of the points of her face are, which is fine. Now if we look at this nose, it's round. The actual outside of it, the fleshy part, is in line with this tear duct. So we're going to put a mark down there because that is in line with that. And then the nostril starts a couple of millimeters further in. So I'm going to try and get that shape. Hopefully it now starts looking like her face is on its side, because I'm almost feeling like I'm not getting that pose, right? These are difficult poses, I must just warn you. If I look at that nostril, it's in line with this eye. That's why I'm putting it there. These are difficult poses. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to deliberately do these for this challenge that I've entered, or that I've committed to, so that I can teach myself something. I do find that if I don't enter a challenge, or if I'm just sort of drawing randomly for the day for practice, I don't really kind of figure out or think or work out what it is that I want to do, because it is just a random drawing, and I don't do it every day. I try to, but on some days it doesn't quite work out. Life gets in the way. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use this to, first of all, understand this paper. It's a great opportunity to understand your supplies. And the other reason is obviously to improve. Those would be my main reasons for doing such a challenge. And I can see that I don't have this 100% right. So I would be manipulating my page. I would certainly not have it lying at this angle all the time, purely because it's quite difficult to draw at this angle and have a look at shapes and lay down what you see at this angle. So you manipulate your paper to get the result that you are looking for. So quite an interesting discussion with a family member when I was over about being stuck, and I didn't really understand what being stuck meant. Being stuck in a place, talking about in your life, can even be in art, it can be actually in anything. And I found it quite frustrating that someone close to me was just struggling. Well, not found it quite difficult. I kind of think, well, you know, if you can do something about it, do it. Not really understanding that that person is so stuck in that situation that they don't know where to start to get out of it. And once that was explained to me, kind of felt, wow, okay, that really is quite something to be there. And I hope that none of you are. I hope that none of you ever do get stuck and find it difficult to pull yourself out of it. Because once it was explained to me, I really did understand. I really did get it. And yeah, it's not very nice at all, I have to say. I have a lot more empathy, obviously, now for people in stuck situations, whereas before I kind of thought, well, you know, you're in it, you can get yourself out of it. Having no idea at all that that's the reason why they're stuck, right? Because they can't get themselves out of it. So that was a big learning, and I was very, very appreciative of that learning. And I know that a lot of people are feeling that way. And I'm hoping that just through a little bit of art and just doing some sort of creative thing that you are able to get yourself unstuck. So here I can see that this mouth is just not right, and I know I'm doing it from this side, and this is why I choose these different portraits, because this is what I want to start getting right or understanding, because it's all very well to keep on drawing similar poses and straight on and the right way up, etc., etc. But to start, this eye is not big enough here, but to start changing the poses and drawing them is a big learning. That looks better, I think, I hope. So do yourself a favor and yeah, give it a try, because it really does, teach you a lot. So that's art. So somehow I've ended up with an extended face here. So we might have a likeness, but it's definitely not going to be her. But then what we want is a likeness. So if I can get a likeness, I'm going to be happy. This is her jawline. She's got a beautiful jawline, I have to say. Very, very square. Let's just get that in place. It does not look right. Let me just measure from, where am I going to measure from? Because I don't even know if I've got the mouth right. I think I've got the mouth going down instead of going up. So I can just rectify that. This is what's so nice about doing these recordings, is that you can see when I don't get something right. And that's what practice is all about, is that you can rectify it and not worry. You don't want to be worrying about what you're not getting right. You want to have a look at what you are getting right, and you want to work on that. You don't want to keep on seeing the negative. As artists, we are forever condemning our work. It's just ridiculous. We do it not naturally. It doesn't come naturally to us to feel great about what we have done. And it's just not on. I'll always try to see what the learnings are and the good in what I have drawn. So I love this shadow down here near her eye. So I'll try and replicate that. Comes down into her ear. So ear there, that is in line. That part of her nose. Got her hair, we've got her hair line here. I'm not going to finish this completely. I don't really do that with my portraits. As you know, I love leaving something for the imagination. So I'm probably going to lightly fill that in. Is that where that goes to? Let me have a look and see. Is that in line with the bottom of her lip? I think I've got it right. It doesn't look great, but we have a shadow that goes along here, and it might be because I need to. There we go. That does look a bit better. Right, so now we're going to blend that out into nothing. We're going to blend that out. So we've got it here, and we're going to take this down into this cheekbone. Something is definitely not right here. You can see it doesn't look like her at all, and I definitely don't have a proportions right. But I've enjoyed doing it. And you can see that there's a shadow here. Just do this very, very lightly. If you're using this Kanzen, it really does become saturated very, very quickly. You can see that even my light marks that I have put down have actually made marks on the paper. It's something that I had to kind of embrace. And I'm working on the wrong side of this paper, just by the way. So there's a honeycomb, which is the side that you're meant to be working on, or that's the side for the pastel. I like both sides. So I have used, this is the smoother side. The blending stump definitely manages to sort out those lines that it does also remove some of the charcoal, which is not a bad thing. So this comes up here. Suggestion. So this is where I'm going to remove that, because that is where I have made her look a bit fat. Okay, this mouth is out, I can see it. Just need to fix that. Bottom lip is a lot thicker than the top one. Just trying to fix that, and then I'm just going to remove the highlights that are in it. Give it a bit more life. I'll take that away. Okay, so this does not look like her at all. I can see that. However, I've loved working on this and really enjoyed getting back into recording again. And just trying out this paper and chatting to you guys. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope that you have learned something, or if not learned something, at least like the process. That's all that I can actually ask. I'm just going to put these in, and then I'm actually going to try and put in her nose ring. And that did work, yay. So I'm just going to put these in. She's put them all over her face. And although that they are not actually there, quite like the effect. Putting in the last little details just so that I don't lose everything that I've done on this. And then I'm just going to put in a suggestion of, this is so thick now at the moment, I don't want to ruin it. So I'm just putting in a suggestion of, and that I've ruined already, I can see it. Suggestion of eyelashes. As soon as you put in too many, it immediately looks off, like what I've done there. Ruin that side. So I'm just going to try and fix that again. So with charcoal, it's exactly what we can do, is we can fix it. Very, very forgiving medium. Quite amazing. Lost the whole top eyelash again. Eyelid, should I say. There we go. Got it back. Just try and do a couple of suggestions. Okay, that's it. I'm not doing any more. I don't even like that. Even though they are there. Not keen on that at all, so I'm going to take that away. And get that back in again. Lift and add and lift and add. Is what it's all about. And now that eye is starting to look very, very strange indeed. So I think I must just stop because I'm ruining it. So there we go. That is when you know when to stop, when you are ruining it. Neaten that up. I'm going to put a highlight in there, get that highlight back, and stop. That's it. I'm stopping because I am going to add and add and add, and I'm going to end up ruining whatever it is I'm doing. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will do my absolute best to get back into the recording weekly and keep this up. Starting to fiddle. I've got this line incorrectly down, and I am going to end the recording, but you can see what I have done here before I go. So I'm going to get that off of there. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful day further. Bye for now.